want to share with you the poetry resource of how to write poems. This is great for K through 3rd grade if you want to teach how to write different types of poetry. Let me show you first, anything that has this yellow explained on it is more like a poster that will explain what the term at the top is. So poetry, here's one for what a couplet is, and it gives an example. And then what each one of these will do after it explains, it will give you the digital option where you're just filling in text boxes, and this one will help walk you through. So it says think of rhyming words, directions, create a rhyming couplet by finishing each stanza. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fill in the blank. The dog loves to bark when it runs in the, and they fill in the blank. And then down here they would rate their poems. This one's not so much that they have to rate on, but the rest of them, I have it on all of them so that they can think about if they did a good job of picking a word or writing a poem. Here's one. The next one, it shows you a little, it gives them a little more freedom, tells them to write 2 lines. Here's an example of something that they can do, and then drag the stars in order to rate themselves. And then it gets a little bit harder, and then they have to write one all by themselves. And this is the pattern that you'll see throughout. So here's one for nonsense poetry. It tells them what it is, it gives an example, and then they will create their own silly nonsense poem about a pretend animal with an example down at the bottom. They rate it afterwards. They'll do another one about a polka dot fish, and then they create one all by themselves. So it pretty much walks them through step by step on how to create that kind of poem. Here's one for a shape poem. They will have different shapes, and what the student will do is they'll go in and give it a title. This one could be the loving heart or something like that. And then they go in and they can write anything about the heart or whatever they want to write about, a poem about love. And they can take this little dot here and turn it in order to try to shape it to be with the heart. They can also add more text boxes if they want to by just inserting like that. And always, teachers, please always teach your students about this. This is the undo button. If they make a mistake and they don't want that there, they just push the undo button. Or if they change the size of the star, if they accidentally change the size of the star, they would simply click the undo button and it goes right back. And here's one for the sun. Here's one that they would create all by themselves. They could do simple shapes like a house, something very simple. These are poem puzzle kind of word puzzles where they put the word downwards and then they write. This one's an example. And the next one gives them, this one they would drag. Where would this go? Earth. So let's see if we can find, oh here, this must be it. So they would drag these over. Earth is our planet, and this would help them set them up to how they're going to do their next poem. So this one they would write words, something different, but they all would begin with that letter provided, and they all should be about Earth. Here's one for love, beach, clown, pizza, and then they get to create their own whatever they want to with a 5-letter word. Here's one a little more difficult. These are one line, would be one word title with 2 syllables. It's a little bit harder, but there's the formula that they can use to look at it. And here's an example of one. Dragon, power, fierce, flying, soaring, eating, hunting, above, beautiful oceans, creature. And this will tell them, you put a noun, adjective, ing word, 4 words or phrases that show emotion, and then a synonym, which tells them down here at the bottom what that is. And here's where they would create it all by themselves. Hopefully they would memorize. Did you memorize the formula? And then they could add their own. Next is a bio poem. Here's an example. And then they would fill in the blanks. What's their name? The name of the person that they're going to write the poem about. Last name at the bottom. Fill in all these. They can then do one all by themselves and see if they can memorize that pattern a little bit. And here it is where it's telling them basically they just click in here. Here is a rubric for the teacher to go over and see if they completed it, if they stayed on topic, if they showed good effort, neatness, and teacher could give some comments down here and give a score. There are check marks for you to move in order to let the students know how they did. Okay, now once you get to slide 36, all the way down, you're going to see this is the only extra thing, and there's the poetry notebook that you can print all of these off there. The same thing after this. After you see the notebook one, you'll see the exact same things that you will find in those slides that I just showed you with the colorful ones for digital learning. But these are black and white, so you can just print them out and make your own poetry notebook for the students. All they're going to do differently is handwrite. So you can scroll through and you can see that you are going to get the exact same thing in black and white to save your printer ink and to be able to print this out for if you are in person teaching. And that's it. I hope that you guys have a great time learning all about the wonderful world of poetry.